Hey, so there we have it. Here is the one, the only Loki, the god of mischief, the trickster himself, and the all-new Norse God Lightning Infiltrator for Dawn of Titans. So we'll kind of just let this intro kind of come through just another time. You guys get a chance to see him. And in this video here, I'll be showing you what type of skill set that I get on my Loki and what did I use him in battle for. I did not get my hands on the all-new relics, so I will suggest that you check out some of the other SPPs for some of the relic information. I'll let them go ahead and keep that one as a nice little surprise for you and get a chance to see a little bit more of what he can do. But I do want to show you what was I able to do with Loki with some of the relics that I already have, including some of the lightning ones as well as some pre-existing ones. So taking a look at Loki here at level 60, 207,225 is what he kind of brings to the battlefield, a damage of 15,290, health at 113,000, speed at 23, so he's one of the quickest infiltrators that there is. His piercing in this little setup I've got going for him is 66% with critical at 14%, a medium range, and a medium damage area. Now he is of course also built for charge, but looking at some of his kind of base resist that he has here is a base of 15% armor and 0 resists. Now, of course, we know that infiltrators are a little bit weaker when it comes to their own defensive buffs and what they can do. But you can give them some pretty good stuff with some of the relics that you may already have your hands on. Of course, not even including what are some of those new Deceit relics that we have in the all-new event for Loki. When we take a look at his skill base that I got a double set of double skills, which of course calling focus to Loki's daggers, his very first skill, at 20% base Titan damage, 20% base Titan critical, and 20% base health and base speed. So that all those individually get buffed 20%. Then I did get double true strikes and double lightning mastery, which is double the armor piercing and double the lightning damage, which for me, I actually think this is a lovely build right here because relics can always buff my crit. But let's take a look at Loki's intro one more time. Right, I'm an absolute fan of kind of how he really does slide into the screen and his mastery with those double lightning daggers. Now, let's take this Loki that we see and put him out there on the battlefield. And I'll kind of walk you through a few of these battle lineups that I did, progressing in difficulty as we go through this video so you can see him take on something a little bit closer to himself. And as mentioned, progressively work our way up in some difficulty. So let's keep going. But this one I just brought in a whole bunch of Panthers just because I was thinking, you know, what's great to keep up with a nice infiltrator other than the speed of Panthers, and what does his speed compare to that of Panthers? So here you can kind of see my lineup of everything we've got. Again, we'll pull up the skills one more time so you get a chance to see those and even take a look at all of the relics individually so you know just, you know, what did I set him up as. Again, his skills, level 60 all the way across the board. He's right now at about 66% AP, and he is well over 100. He's actually about 162%. Titan lightning damage is the boost that he's got there, not even including the 20% boost that is there alone. So the relics that I rolled in with was the Orb of Duality. This here is at level 10, so we've got the 30% Titan lightning damage, as well as some of the resist ice, resist poison. I've got the Cape of Icere, which gives the lightning damage, the critical, as well as AP for both the Titan and troops. So of course this starts to buff his stats even more. I've got a level 10 Morbid Cloak, which gives him some resist against poison, 50% and 40% health. That's the two major ones I was looking for. To be honest, I actually don't care what happens to the Panthers here, but I do like the 100% resist against poison. I'll get there with the Septic Belt. Now, putting on the Boots of Icere, we have more armor as well as damage for all troops. The resist against lightning, but I was kind of just looking for some extra stuff to do with the armor. Here we get more lightning damage with the more Icere relics. So what that does to him overall is give him an 84% piercing and a 34% crit, which, again, I know I could definitely get that up a bit higher, but his health is right under 160,000. His armor is at 75%, and looking at his poison resist, which is 100%, 40% lightning, and 24 is from the others, again, with the relics I showed and the skills you have already seen. Now, again, what do I take him up against is, you know, a Titan that's I really wanted to test. This whole entire video, I want to see, do we potentially have a cat killer here? I'll just show off my Panthers that I'm bringing in, which honestly, they're not great, but I just wanted to essentially bring these guys in just to see will they be able to keep up with Loki and vice versa? So we'll just bring in a pack of them and kind of see what happens. Pretty traditional spell build out here. Giving them just a few extra shields is what I'm going to bring with, just in case, because again, it is an infiltrator. And we're going up against Okasi here with quite a few more Panthers. And again, let's just kind of keep an eye on what happens here and give you the rundown of essentially the damage. Again, my big question here is, do we possibly have a cat killer? Now, this is, again, relatively equal, so we're going to start out here, but eventually I'll take him up against some more max or high-level Panthers. You will get the opportunity to also see a Ladega fight in this one, and that's really what my big question was, is this possibly that opportunity to really shut down our Panther game, you know, that everyone runs? So here we go. Single swipe, taking him out. Let's put him up against, you know, how about these Imperials, cats? Pretty easy. Here we go up against Okasi, and this is where, you know, seems to be working out okay. Nothing too bad. Loki's health is holding up. Those cats are going down. This seems all right. Again, I know my cats, I'm not too worried about it. They were there just speed-wise, and Loki did keep up with them. And again, laying down equal level Panthers is mine, really no problem. Even those raged Panthers can't do too much. The one question I ultimately have out of this one is if he's 100% poison resist, I'm really curious where he kind of lost some of that initial health when he took the hits from the Panthers, you know, right there. But overall, he really has absolutely no troubles laying down these Panthers, putting some work into them. Now, we wrap up here at about a minute of a battle, which, again, is just kind of me letting him do his own thing versus too much control. But there, you know, we've got a victory. And as far as equal level Infiltrator versus equal level cats of what I'm going up against, really not a problem here at all. So let's go ahead and just kind of shift focus and let's raise the stakes. Let's put them up against something just a little bit stronger and slightly more buff than what I roll in with. Now, of course, the one trick with the Infiltrators is normally you want to bring some troops in to kind of help out in case that Infiltrator goes down. Well, let's just raise the stakes a bit here, and let's just bring in the bare minimum. I've got no reinforcements, so I'm going to just bring in 3 troops. We'll keep it 3 militia. I'm going up against Kuba here, level 50, with series of poison relics on there. You can see the Tainted Bow, the Bitter Dirks, the Mount Armors, and even the Orb there. And let's see what we can do. Now we're going up against level 21 troops with a level 50 Kuba, and let's watch how this one runs down. Militia, again, they're going to be toast. I'm not worried about that. They're the disposable troops right now. This is the one trick I did have when I was playing with Loki, and you know, and with infiltrators in general, is sometimes they can get caught in their little kind of dance around. They'll do their full circle around troops because, you know, they're trying to move so quick that sometimes they almost move too quick and they start chasing troops around. So we'll get out of that free spell and see, here we go. He just gets caught in a little bit. So that's, you know, that's the one thing that definitely could slow these raids down versus getting them done in just that 30 seconds is the fact that sometimes you get caught in the dance off with an infiltrator. But here we go. Let's go ahead and have him keep single swiping it, going right in and taking out just groups of Panthers, really having no issue and really taking, you know, not major hits when it comes to that health. And I kind of booked it off screen on me there. Let me go ahead and get caught up to him where he's at, taking on these Imperials. Same thing, even though he doesn't have major ice resist, these level 21 Imperials aren't doing much harm to him at all. Again, I kind of credit that to his larger health stat that he does have there. So we got another victory, and again, let's keep raising the stakes here. Let's go ahead and set him up against one more battle with some really high-level troops, and we're going to go into Ladega next with our battle here. So we've got about roughly a third of what the battle damage is caused by that Ladega. Now we're going up to level 22 troops. You can see they definitely have the poison stack, double mounts, double Bitter Dirks, and then we've got the Tainted Relics on there as well. Again, I'm going to bring the same thing, just going to keep that 3 militia. I'm keeping my same setup here that I've got so far. Skill base hasn't changed, so this is the same Loki you've already seen in those 2 previous battles. And now we've got, again, the Orb, we've got some of those Iseer Relics, and I've got my 100% Poison Resist. So we've got level 23s and level 22s. Let's go ahead and head into this Ladega battle. So we've got the four-corner map here. Of course, we know the troops will be coming in right by that little pond, but let's go ahead and send some militia out to their death. I know Lodega ultimately is not going to be the big challenge here because, unfortunately, on this map, these Rangers do have a habit of just kind of walking themselves shamefully to a death before they even get a shot off. But, you know, the big question really is, how about these Panthers? Again, we've now stepped up a little bit higher. Again, level 23s and level 22. So ultimately, let's just kind of see what type of damage does Loki take while going up against them. And same thing, it kind of loses that like initial notch off the belt of his health, but never really seems to be too much more than that. Now, I don't have a whole lot of fire resist, so ultimately my goal is to be, let's just try to avoid some of that fire when possible, but that hit really didn't seem to do much from those Grenadiers. Kind of keep taking out some of these packs. And of course, the one thing to keep in mind, right, with those Icier relics, we do have those free lightning spells that do get to come with them. Same thing here, he's knocking those Panthers out without even paying much attention to them, even with just the back swipe. So yet again, absolutely no trouble laying out Panthers, even these buffed ones with the double mount armors, which, you know, by assumption would certainly be 4-star, 3-star mount armors. And just not having any challenge with these cats at all and not losing any major amounts of health on Loki. So, Lodega buffed cats, all right, here at level 23, 22, also not a problem for Loki whatsoever. So, yet again, the big thing is, do we have these cat killers? And, you know, this absolute poison counterpart here with Loki as the Infiltrator. And let's do one more. Although it's a little bit of a lower score, 1 million, Okasi here, of course, being a paladin, might have just a little bit more, and these cats were a little bit higher. So we're looking at 24s. Now, we do also have some resist to poisons on there, but of course, those same poison resists do buff things for the cats. And let's take a look at how this Okasi battle rolls down. This one here, again, being quite a bit higher of a level. We've got these 25s, 24s. Working max, even though the numbers are not as high, the troop level certainly is. And same thing though, ultimately this battle isn't too much of a challenge. The biggest challenge that I do face is when we actually come across Titan v Titan. These cats really have absolutely no problem going down versus Loki. It's just a single swipe pretty much takes them out. But Okasi here being a bit higher gives Loki a little bit more of a challenge and kind of seems to hold off his attack. So I'm curious to know exactly what this skill base was for Okasi, if there is like some Titan lightning resist. But now, of course, when they're caught up and he's so focused on the Titan, he's not really dealing a lot of damage. And unfortunately, I do get caught in some fear spell here. But once I do free myself of the Titan, I'm able to start doing damage back to the Panthers. So this is where this, I guess, could get just a little bit tricky is, you know, the resists, you know, is it resist versus Titan? Is it, you know, I'm really curious to possibly know how this turned out. In the end, you know, it works out okay. But you can definitely see that these higher level troops, although they do give you a little bit of a run for your money, and when he's caught up in this pack, he does not want to seem to get out of there. Yet again, one little possible challenge with that Infiltrator. So he does end up getting impacted by that fear spell. So when he finally breaks free, he, you know, he'll end up kind of wandering off here a bit. And unfortunately, then when we're there, we're at a bit of a stalemate when it comes to the damage. Now, I honestly think if we just kind of look at, you know, what's going on here, taking all of these hits from the Panthers and even taking these hits from the Grenadiers, his health really hasn't gotten into a point where it becomes critical or concerning. I honestly think almost any other Infiltrator would have gone down by now under these circumstances, especially with no troops in the mix whatsoever. You know, so this is certainly quite a bit unique. And you can see now that I'm free of the Titan, I'm able to go ahead and do the damage. 3 level 23, 24 Panthers down in a single swing. But again, when they're caught up in that bunch, we know, of course, there's that whole damage output that gets a little confused. So once again, we're going to go ahead and try and see if we can get Loki to get free of here. Finally break free of these Panthers before that fear spell kicks in one more time. There we go. And let's go ahead and get those Panthers. Now look at this. Look at how quick Loki is. He is getting out ahead of those Panthers. So speed-wise, quick. Damage-wise, strong. Not a single problem putting them down. Now it's me versus their Titan. Size-wise, you can also tell Loki is definitely a bit bigger here. And I'm kind of just watching the health here. We're working both on getting our critical hits in there. But this Okasi either definitely has a good resist against Titan, or it's going to come down to resist first lightning. And let's keep our way out of that spell. And this will honestly come all the way down to just the last moments of this battle to see who ends up walking away from this. Let me tell you though, it did have me a little nervous here that Panther-wise, not a single problem, but against the Titan, and here we go, Loki just wandering right into that fear spell, which of course isn't good when you're down to under 2 minutes of that raid left, so he is just not wanting to go anywhere. He's doing a little bit of the scenic tour, double checking the map, you know. He just wanted to go and smell the flowers for a moment, even though there are none and they're just trees. But overall, I mean, in the end, taking a look at Loki here, it really kind of worked out quite nicely with the whole element of lightning versus the cats. I think is pretty strong. Finally can get back into the battle here now that he's free of his fear spell. We're down to our last minute. And again, you could see he's getting his damage in there, just not impacting as much versus his paladin here. Letting them just take these blows at each other. Now, Loki is getting a couple criticals in there. But it's not a massive blow. So definitely some good resists on this Titan. Definitely got to give kudos to that one. The Panthers, however, yet again, I mean, even at higher levels, really no challenge for Loki at all, and nowhere near to taking him down. So now this is when the palms start getting sweaty. Down to our last 15 seconds of this battle, and this really is going to run all the way down to that very last hit. Are we going to get it in there? Now, it's definitely not going to be me who loses outright, right? I'm not losing my health quick enough, but we're down into absolutely no health left. So it looks like that final blow finally got in there right at the buzzer to count as a victory. I'm hoping there, right? So won that one literally by the skin of our teeth for what we have. So going to go ahead and run up against just one more opportunity here. We're going to put this up against a Sagunga Infiltrator versus Infiltrator. Now, unfortunately, that Infiltrator is nowhere near my level, but we do have, yet again, some upper level cats. Just to kind of see, they're not quite buffed, but running at roughly double. Plus, I also wanted to see, let's see what happens when we throw in a few more Imperials and maybe a few more Grenadiers. How does Loki hold up, you know, in a not all cat situation? Again, running level 24 troops. Unfortunately, they really aren't massively buffed, but I will say I was actually looking around, asking some people if they had any absolute maxed out Panthers and troops, and no one kind of came to my my posting to let me really put Loki up against the test. But so I took what I really could find in my league at the time, and yet again, here we go. We have these level 24 troops really doing absolutely nothing to Loki whatsoever. So, I mean, for me, for an Infiltrator, higher level, of course, he's maxed. I've gotten my max relics on there. I think the best battle I went up against there was the past one against Okasi with the pretty good Titan resist. The Panthers still were nothing. But going up against that max Ladega, which everyone seems to run, I'd almost be interested to see what happens if we put Loki down on defense against a max Ladega. Would they be able to hold out? Even if you freeze him for a little while, will his health really drop if you run in thinking you could take out my Infiltrator with all poison? So here, again, this really is absolutely nothing. So now we've tested against a couple different classes, right? The Ranger, the Infiltrator, the Berserker, from equal level 17 all the way up here to level 24, various stages of buffing, and honestly, I was never sweating it with losing one of these battles with Loki outright, except for, of course, coming down to that timer. But here's Loki one more time. Again, little sneak in from behind the post. This is our Infiltrator we have, the all-new Norse God Infiltrator, Loki, the God of Mischief. And the second Lightning Titan Norse God in Dawn of Titans. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. And you, of course, can always reach out to me in various different ways, both here on the channel, but you can also hit me up on Discord, on Twitter, on Instagram. Connect with me online, band as well as also Twitch, and even check out some all-new merch that I have available on Patreon if you head to that site and search for me as GamingJAEGER. Thanks, everyone, for watching me again. Let me know what you think of Loki down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, like, and again, thanks for watching. I am GamingJAEGER, and I'm signing out.